The one thing I will tell you is that I haven't bought this rally, meaning I don't buy that all of a sudden we're in a new bull market yet in crypto, right? So the main issues I have is that while this was an absolutely remarkable rally up, in the scheme of things, if you zoom out on the chart, it's still a relatively small move, and you could arguably say that this move here is the same size as this move here. I mean, it's not much different in dollar amount to the upside, nor is it this low to this high, right? So for me, it's nice to see, but it was coming off of the December kind of tax loss selling. So once December's over and people have sold for tax purposes to reduce what they owe the government, there's just naturally this void of sellers. So it allows for rallies to take place in the stock market, in the crypto space.
For his frequently negative price forecasts for the top cryptocurrency, Gareth Soloway is a well-known technical analyst who frequently receives harsh criticism in the Bitcoin community. Soloway said that the gradual upward momentum the cryptocurrency asset experienced in January after the FTX collapse was due to the January effect rather than the start of a new bull run, much as was anticipated by many. Early in February, when the cryptocurrency asset failed to maintain the significant upward surge above $24,000, he was momentarily proven correct. By February 10th, Bitcoin had fallen from a prior high of $24,150 due to a combination of macroeconomic shocks and regulatory action by U.S. authorities against the cryptocurrency business. Please watch the entire clip because we have two significant Soloway interviews at the very end when he attempts to explain whether this is the start of a new bull market or merely another bull trap.
And then again, you look at, we don't have transparency. We hear, now Kraken's being targeted. We hear all these other things. And so at this point, I'm not ready to buy the whole narrative of, we're now in a new bull market and here we go. I want to see more proof of it before I put myself behind that. Yeah, so one of the interesting things that you bring up is sentiment, right? And sentiment is so important. And what I didn't like about this rally is that we literally, what did we go up 35% off the lows? You had the same bullish sentiment in the market that we had it when we were at 65,000. And that people jumped on the bull bandwagon far too fast. If you go back to 2001 after the dot-com collapse, 2009, the first move in any beginning of a bull market that occurs, most people are scared. It's shitless. I don't know if I can say that on this program, but hopefully I can. All right. Yeah, so they're scared shitless about that first move. It's too scary. They think, oh my goodness, this has to be a fake out. In this situation with crypto, everyone was like, new bull market, here we go. Here it goes back to all-time highs. That's a dead indicator. It's not a new bull market, right? People haven't been, gone through the despair and the kind of the giving up phase of a bear market. So that coupled with the fact that we now need to establish ourselves and actually make higher highs, that would be something that would get my attention.
And we have not made higher highs on that. I believe that daily chart we showed, we're still making lower highs than, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So just looking back at the chart again here, we can see that we did take out. So the one positive here, and this is what's interesting, right? So this area here, and let me just draw some rectangles here. So this area right here, that was where FTX collapse began. Here, notice how when we came back to that, it was resistance. It was tough for the markets to break through, but eventually it did. Look at where we find ourselves back to, right at that same level. So this is an important level for Bitcoin. If there's one level you're following that could tell us there's a bull market here, if this level holds and we can go take out the high right here from which was around 24,300, that would be a positive. If this yellow line breaks and price starts trading below, you're honestly probably headed back to sub 20,000 on Bitcoin. So this level, again, we'll call it like 21,400. Watch to see if that level holds for the next week or so. If it doesn't hold and we break, be very careful. No, I actually am still in the camp that we still have some further downside to go. Yeah, definitely in that camp. Again, just because I haven't seen the flush out. And one of the biggest concerns I have about the crypto market is not that we're not going to get regulation and transparency. It's actually my worry about the overall economy and then the impact on the stock market. So what I'm seeing coming in the future is that we're going to slip into a recession, right? Probably second half of 2023, we go into a recession. the markets are going to turn to the Federal Reserve and say, okay, could you print us out of this recession like you've done every down move in the economy over the last 15, 16 years? And the Fed is going to say, guys, we would love to, but the problem is inflation's still, let's say, 3% or 3.5%. So we can't. Now the market's faced with what I would say is like this long, drawn-out recession period where earnings are going down. And you might say, well, what the heck do earnings have to do with crypto? Well, the problem is if investors start to dump stocks, and we say, let's say we see another 25% down move in the S&P, now figure out how crypto holds up in face of that, right? So if we see a mass exodus of risk assets, it's hard to imagine crypto doesn't get caught in that wave.
The continuous rallies and significant indicators that investors should be on the lookout for before making any significant trades were the topics of Soloway's latest Bitcoin forecast in a Friday interview with the TD Ameritrade Networks. We will provide you with the interview's video clip.
And I think you have to be very careful here. The earmarks of the Bitcoin move this morning and into today, exactly what a blow off top in the near term looks like. So I'm very cautious here, folks. Again, we just got bullered out with some news talking very hawkishly about rates. We have the PPI numbers hotter. The rates are not going down. If anything, they're going up in the near term. And the FOMO is alive and well out there. And I mentioned earlier about that kind of rejuvenation of 2021 when everything was so great. And I think you're getting a lot of that buying from the retail crowd where they're just jumping in. They remember how amazing 2021 was. The problem is that you didn't have rates at 5%. You didn't have the Fed not printing money, right? The Fed was printing money. The government was sending out checks. So financially, the system is much different than it was back there. And I do think that people need to be a little bit cautious. But you're right. I mean, there's nothing that says Bitcoin can't run to 30,000. I in particular don't think it will here. I think 25 might be the near-term top. But you're right. When it comes to this kind of momentum-driven Wall Street bets crowd psychology, there's no doubt that you could see some continuation in the near term.
When do you get out of the trade, Gareth?
So I would say look for a retrace on Bitcoin down to about 18,000 and change. There'll be major support there. I know that's a big drop from here, no doubt about it. But I do think, again, as you see the rates stay higher for longer, it's going to take the case away from bullish on Bitcoin and some of these other trades that have been running lately, like Tesla. So I don't know if Gary Gensler needs to be out of office, but what I do know is that for this market to finally bottom, you need clarity, you need transparency, and you need basically the ability to understand what the rules are. And for a mom and pop buying a half or a quarter or a third of a Bitcoin, I don't think it matters that much. It's kind of like a long shot, like a lottery ticket. But we have to remember that as much as we don't want to have it be this way, institutional money, big money, the billions, the trillion-dollar players, they're the ones that are going to push crypto in one direction or the other, right? So those players are not coming near this space with significant money. And it's not that they don't want to. I think that deep down, hedge fund managers, they want to be involved in crypto. They see lots of potential upside in crypto, but they can't do it legally, right? They have this fiduciary responsibility. And once FTX collapsed, they're in this position of saying, well, how can I don't want to get in trouble for putting money into crypto. And then the SEC comes out and says, hey, this is illegal or this can't be done, AKA what they just did to Kraken, right? So I think that's the bigger issue. So I do agree that until this cloud is out of the way, people should expect Bitcoin and crypto overall to not have a major bull run. This goes back to what crypto is, right? Crypto is a way for people to free themselves from the handcuffs of this governmental fiat currency BS and all that. So, I mean, in the very least, they can try to do what they want to it. I really don't think that they can destroy it at this point. They could try to regulate, but I think that for the most part, it's going to continue regardless. I mean, and I think you're right on that, is that you have this scenario where right now crypto's gotten crushed, people have gotten hurt with FTX. There's going to be more vocal naysayers, but I still think that a huge amount of politicians, when it comes down to it, recognize how many jobs are now reliant on blockchain technology. You have all these big companies like Microsoft getting into the mix here, and all this lobbyist money too from these companies. So I think when it comes back to it, that's what's going to rule the day. It's going to be jobs, right? Because how does a politician get reelected? It all comes back to, are they preserving jobs? Are they keeping jobs and helping sectors become bigger and bigger, especially in the U.S. Because, right, we don't need China or we don't need other countries taking the advantage here. We've got to be on the leading edge of blockchain technology.
What do you think of Gareth Soloway's estimates for Bitcoin's price and general outlook in 2023? Please share your thoughts or observations in the space below. Also, be sure to check out our other videos on cryptocurrency, like this one, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your time.